Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. And Senator, what is your understanding of the intelligence as we know it, and when might we be able to get some concrete conclusions?
Well, Dana, Secretary Pompeo is exactly right. China continues to withhold information and cover up where this virus originated. Now, of course, we know that wherever it originated, they continued to lie throughout all of December and January about how contagious it was and how deadly it was, allowing it to get outside of mainland China when they probably could have contained it there or even contained it inside Wuhan. The intelligence agencies have been directed by the president to try to identify those questions. It's entirely appropriate for the president to direct intelligence agencies to answer a question of pressing national urgency. Unfortunately, in matters of intelligence, you rarely get direct evidence or conclusive proof. Sometimes you have to stitch together a lot of circumstantial evidence into a mosaic. And I have to say that right now, all of the circumstantial evidence points to the labs in Wuhan. None of the evidence, I mean zero circumstantial evidence, points to the seafood markets in Wuhan. If the Chinese Communist Party is confident about the origins of this virus, then I'm sure they would welcome an international investigation into those origins.
But they don't, of course, we know that. And I wonder how I found it quite galling this morning to read in the Washington Post an op-ed written by the Chinese ambassador, actually quoting Lincoln back to Americans, basically saying it's time to end the blame game. It's time to focus on the disease and rebuild trust between our two countries. As President Abraham Lincoln called for the better angels in his inauguration speech, I hope that the wisdom of preceding generations will guide us to choose the right side of history and work for our shared future together. I mean, they're on a propaganda tear, Senator.
Nothing like a godless communist citing angels in which he doesn't believe and in which they will persecute their own people if they profess a belief in.
What else about the other thing I wanted to ask you about? This Venezuela story, we have Americans being held by the Maduro government. There's this question about a possible attempt for a coup. What should we be thinking about this?
Dana, I don't have any information I'm able to share with you at this point. I will say that the Maduro regime in Venezuela has long persecuted its own people. It's created immense amounts of misery in that country even before this pandemic hit Venezuela. The Venezuelan people and the American people would be much better off if the legitimate leader of Venezuela, Juan Guaido, was able to take his position as the head of state in Venezuela, and that's official American policy.
Yep. All right, Senator Tom Cotton, thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
And the Supreme Court wrapping